Chapter 1: Child of Revolution and War. I was too young to remember what peace tasted like. From my earliest memories, I was intimately familiar with all the flavors of war. My twin brother, Naghmeh, and I were born in Tehran, the capital of Iran, in 1977, only 2 years before the Iranian Revolution and 3 years before the beginning of the long conflict between Iran and Iraq. Our little sister, Nazanin, was born 5 years later. My birth had been a surprise. My mother didn't realize she was carrying twins during her pregnancy. Because I was so small as I shared the space in her womb with my brother, the doctor completely missed my presence during all of my mom's prenatal checkups. After I was born, the doctor warned my parents that most likely I would not survive infanthood. I was a sickly child needing extra nourishment in order to grow. Even years later, my sister could wear my clothes when she was only a toddler. I also had eye problems and had to wear an eye patch and special glasses in order to see straight. In addition, I experienced bladder problems, having constant infections that required medication to control. Anyone looking at pictures of my parents in Tehran in 1977 would not be able to tell if they lived in the Middle East or Europe. Universities in the capital city flourished, with both men and women flooding the academic halls. Shopping centers were full of young men in bell-bottom jeans and women in form-fitting shirts with vivid pastel colors. Many families like ours had their own car, house, shag carpet, television, and record player. The eruption of the Iranian Revolution, one of the most defining moments in the history of Iran, completely changed our society. Religious leaders overthrew the secular government led by Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi, and turned the nation into an Islamic theocracy. The young people protesting in the streets in favor of the revolution did not recognize the freedoms and the other good aspects of life they had experienced in Iran. Instead, they saw what they didn't have. The people didn't have the luxurious life of the Shah or his many wealthy, frivolous friends. They didn't have hundreds of millions of dollars flowing in from Iran's oil reserves. There were millions of poor people in Iran's most conservative Islamic villages who couldn't even afford proper health care for their children, while the Shah was throwing lavish parties for his friends that would cost $500 million today. My parents were split down the middle in their reaction to the revolution. My father promoted the uprising, and my mother actively worked against them. Their different opinions led to never-ending discussions at home between them. Our family was a microcosm of two of the clashing ideologies that were igniting the national conflict. My father, whom I affectionately called Baba, was from a wealthier, more educated sector of society. Looking around and seeing the financial inequality, he believed that Islam, wrapped in the elements of equality being championed by the communists of that time, was the way forward. So he joined in the protests, marching in the streets against the Shah. Baba embraced the same Islamic utopian ideology as the other protesters, and this put him in direct support of the revolution's leader, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. Khomeini didn't just lead the revolution, he was the revolution. My mother, who I lovingly called Maman, came from a very poor family, but she didn't feel that the way forward for Iran was a more centralized, radical path. As a female officer in the army, she had sworn an oath to protect the Shah, and she viewed the Islamic Revolution with great skepticism. She was not a devoutly religious Muslim woman. She did not pray 3 times a day or attend mosque, and she had no desire to give up her miniskirt. While Baba was out demanding that Iran bring about an Islamic revolution, my mother was defending the Shah's push to make Iran more secular. In the end, Khomeini's Islamic revolution triumphed, and suddenly Iran's culture was transformed and left in tatters. We all hoped for better days with the transition to the Islamic government, equal distribution of wealth, and equal access to education and health care. But that day never came. Baba was still convinced that Ayatollah Khomeini was going to be a great leader. My mother was not as hopeful. Whenever Maman would worry, Baba would try to calm her down by reminding her, "We are the direct descendants of the Prophet Muhammad. Our family name is Sayyid or Hashem, meaning that we're in the royal bloodline of Muhammad, the founder of Islam.